Hello?
May I come in?
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Smith, how nice to meet you. May I have a seat?
Sure.
Mr. Smith, I would like to discuss something personal about you. I have an offer here for you. This box. Now, two things will happen. When you press the button, you will receive $1 million. Two, if you don't you want to hear what else? Don't you want to hear what else
Give me my money.
The second part was someone else was gonna die.
This is me?
No, someone else you don't
Where's
know.
my money?
I'm leaving.
What? No, no, hey! Hey, what about my money?
Who are you?
Yeah, at least I have you, My Little Pony. Oh, Fluttershy, so precious. An average suburban couple is presented with a rare opportunity. One that if they take up on it, they will be given $1 million. The price? The life of some innocent person they don't know. And thus we enter the world of The Box.
Eric, what the hell are you doing?
The Box. The Box?
I'm gonna go get my bat.
No! 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 No!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Movie Smashers. I'm Mark Lassiter.
And I'm Smith Eric.
Today we have a special little presentation for you. A movie called
The Box.
The Box is a 2009 American psychological horror, and I mean psychological horror, film based on the 1970s short story Button Button by Richard Matheson.
Matheson's short story was previously adapted into an episode of The Twilight Zone and, in our personal opinion, was much better than this monstrosity.
Piece of crap. In this movie we're going to talk about this 2009 adaptation and see if it really deserved a 2-hour movie. Or if it should burn in the fire of Mordor for all eternity.
This is our review of
The Box.
Part 1! Presentation! So, The Box is actually a really pretty movie. The visuals, aside from the CG, are actually somewhat decent.
That being said, with a budget of $30 million, one would think that the computer-generated graphics would look a little better.
They don't really stand up to the standards that had come around by 2009.
Of course, special effects don't really make the movie. They don't hurt it either.
Yeah. What really hurts a movie is a poor plot.
And The Box retreated to a 2-hour-long version of a short. Emphasize on the short story.
Yes. But we'll get to that in a minute. Another bad point to the movie,
aside from all of it,
was the fact that it was labeled as a psychological horror movie when the short story fits more to the category than the actual movie.
This 2-hour monstrosity starts to leave that genre and crosses over into the realm of sci-fi. Part 2! Story! In this movie, we're introduced to two characters to start. We meet Arthur and Norma Lewis. The movie opens with the couple finding a mysterious box on their front porch late one night. A note informs them that the owner of the box will come around at 5 p.m. the next day to talk to them.
When we are probably introduced to the villain of the movie, we see that he's not some sort of evil psychopath, but a well-mannered gentleman with a horrible facial scar. This actually makes the suspense even stronger, because now we see a villain who isn't outright bad, even though he mentions that if they take him up on his offer, someone will die.
This leads us to the main dilemma of the first half of the movie. Push the button and get $1 million, but someone you don't know will die.
This is the whole premise of Matheson's short story, and it really is an interesting concept. The main issue with the movie is they take the concept
and turn it into a pile of crap! In the short story, the wife pushes the button and her husband dies. When questioning our villain, she is told, "Did you really know your husband?" This brings a very interesting and provocative thought to the mind. Do we really know anyone?
However, in this movie, we are instead told that it's all the doing of aliens, and the person who dies really is someone the wife doesn't know, taking away from the whole philosophical aspect of the film entirely.
Part 3: Characters!
First off, let's talk about the couple that this movie revolves around. The husband, Arthur, is an employee for NASA, so we all know he needed that extra million since they're out of business now. The wife is a teacher at a local school. Now, we're given some backstory to these characters. It's not a lot, but it is enough to make us care about them, though I do use that term lightly.
Obviously, the biggest name in the movie is Cameron Diaz, who plays the Southern country wife, who ultimately is the one that pushes the button. She's a relatively likable character who has her own physical deformity, thus allowing her to emphasize with our villain. The husband, played by a much less recognized actor than her, is a snoopy character who spends a good majority of the movie trying to play detective. Other than that, we aren't given much about his character.
By allowing us to get to know the couple as much as we did, we are given enough to care, and at the end, when the husband, spoilers, has to make that painful decision to shoot his wife to save the child, I actually did feel it tug at my heartstrings, and I'm dead. The only other character of any real importance is the character of Arlington Stewart. Stewart is the, quote, villain of the movie, and for most of the movie, we perceive to be the ringleader of the whole situation.
We find out later, however, that he is no more than a messenger for some alien race that we get any solid facts about. So there isn't much to talk about his character story-wise, except for that brief history of his character that lasts about 5 minutes of the movie.
The real intrigue in his character comes from how polite he seems towards the couple, but also just the dark attitude that he has. This ultimately would have made a much scarier villain if the director had not decided to go in such a silly route as Aliens.
It could have been a crime movie.
Part 4! Inconsistencies!
So a movie that is 2 hours long and based off a short story has to have an airtight script, right? Wrong!
There are so many things wrong with this movie that we're only going to talk about a few and get this review over with quickly. So,
Please.
because I know you all want to get back to watching your adorable kitten videos.
It is revealed that a good majority of characters in the movie are under some sort of mind control that is cast upon them by Stewart. He forces them to submit and then can use them as his pawns to keep tabs on the subjects of his experiments. Throughout the course of the movie, several of the characters receive nosebleeds.
This at first is thought to be a side effect of the brainwashing procedure, but it also shows up whenever the brainwashee is doing something that is considered treasonous to the alien's cause. This is never addressed past the point of either the husband or wife saying, "You have a nosebleed."
The other main problem we have in the movie is the wife who is missing all of her toes, except for like 2. So she has to walk with a limp because of this, and everyone in the town knows about it apparently. However, the actress Cameron Diaz never really does a convincing limp. If she does, it's only for a few seconds, and even then, it's not enough to notice.
Part 5! Conclusion! In conclusion, The Box was a relatively terrible movie.
The premise was good, and if it had been left at that, it would have been a decent psychological horror flick.
They drove the short story into the ground by trying to stretch it into a 2-hour-long movie.
It felt more like the movies was about the aliens and their plot than it was about the box and that the movie was named after.
They shied away from the moral choice of killing a person to get money in favor of catering to a more sci-fi audience.
This movie is one of those movies that makes more sense the more times you watch it, because it's packed so full of such small, meaningless scenes that ultimately add up to a horribly disappointing ending.
It warrants multiple views to understand it fully, but the movie is just so uninteresting, and after the idea of aliens come up, no one really wants to sit there. You're physically tired by the end of the movie, and you just want to get it over with.
It's a terrible movie with a good premise. It takes a great idea and destroys it.
For that reason, we give it a 3 out of 10.
And that's being generous. This is Mark.
And Eric
From Movie Smashers.
Until next time!
Hold on.
We're Movie Smackers! Smack!
The box!
Do you want my feature ass again?
See, I thought that was good. Actually, I thought that was good.
We